cord. What we have to ask is, again, is this 1.5 millimeters, perhaps 2 millimeters of penetration around the outside of the cord going to be sufficient really to reach the regions of the cord that we want to reach? I think the data that we've seen particularly recently shows us that this sprouting deep in the gray matter is really where we need to go, and that surrounding a cord with chondroitinase may not be sufficient to reach those areas if the spinal cord itself is greater than 4 or 5 millimeters in diameter. So now that we've covered the bad news, Acorda is not giving up. We have 3 active programs in spinal cord injury that I mentioned. The first, we just licensed in from Medtronic, which we call AC-105. They formerly called NeuroShield. This is a clinical program. It's completed phase 1 trials, and we're moving into phase 2 trials for acute spinal cord injury. We also have glial growth factor 2, which we're now working under the DoD and the SCRP Translational Research Partners Program with Georgetown and NC State. And then finally, again, chondroitinase program. So how are we going to overcome these hurdles with chondroitinase? Well, the first thing that we want to do is really ask ourselves, is distribution an issue? Clearly, there's distribution that's seen in the rat, but we don't know what it's going to look like in a larger cord. So we're looking at some pig studies to address this. Secondly, is direct injection into the spinal cord of sufficient quantities of chondroitinase to digest the amount of material that we want to? Is it safe? Are surgeons willing to inject once, twice, 3 times within a spinal cord? And then again, are we able to overcome this in other ways? So can we put chondroitinase into a sustained release matrix or a viral vector that we can deliver to the cord in order to achieve sufficient distribution of digestion? And then finally, if these things fail, what other alternatives are there to manipulate chondroitin sulfate proteoglycans? And then finally, hopefully, we'll get some positive answers from these and move on to manufacturing, safety, and toxicology. So looking first at asking the question, is distribution actually an issue in larger animals? And will it be scaled, or will we still be limited to a few millimeters of digestion? We began to sponsor work a few months ago at a contract research organization to look at distribution of digestion in pigs, which are really quite big. So we're doing direct injections into the spinal cord as well as intrathecal